Eastern and Southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News Weekend Edition.
Good evening, I'm Macy Marie. A 21-year-old man faces murder charges after a shooting spree that left 5 people dead in Louisiana. The suspect was captured this morning in Virginia, over 1,000 miles from the crime scenes. DeMarco Morgan has the story.
Dakota Terrio was booked into the jail in Richmond County, Virginia on Sunday. His arrest marked the end of a multi-state manhunt that began a day earlier in Louisiana. Sheriffs say the suspect had been living with the family of his 20-year-old girlfriend, Summer Ernest. Inside their trailer on Saturday morning, he allegedly shot and killed her, as well as her father and her 17-year-old brother.
There was no red flags. There's no sign of anything, so we have no motive at this time.
Investigators say Terrio then went to his parents' house.
He shot both his mother and his father. Based on information we received at the scene from the father, who was still alive at the time, he gave us the information necessary for us to cut warrants on Dakota Terrio for 2 counts of first-degree murder.
As the search for the killer got underway, police say Terrio was already headed north to his grandmother's home in Virginia, over 1,100 miles away. Deputies were there when he showed up after an all-night drive.
She called this morning looking for the officers to go by and make sure that the house was safe for her to go into. While the officers were there, the individual actually drove by. He drove up into the driveway at that time, had a pistol in his hand.
Terrio dropped the weapon and surrendered without incident. He's facing 5 counts of first-degree murder in Louisiana. DeMarco Morgan, CBS News, New York.
Authorities say the suspect was living with his girlfriend's family for less than a month. They say his parents had recently asked him to move out of their home. Friday, President Trump signed a bill that would reopen the federal government for 3 weeks. 9 out of 15 federal departments were closed during the 35 days. The Smithsonian Museums and the National Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C. shut their doors on January the 2nd. The National Zoo also closed, although animals were still cared for by zoo workers. Both the Smithsonian Museums and the zoo are set to reopen on Tuesday. In local news, it was a busy night for firefighters in Rockcastle County. Overnight crews from Mount Vernon and Broadhead responded to a commercial vehicle fire near mile marker 56 on Interstate 75. The southbound lanes of the interstate were shut down briefly while crews cleaned up debris, but are now back open. No one was hurt. No word on how the fire started. Early this morning, a building in Louisa caught fire. In a Facebook post, the Louisa Fire Department said they got the call around 6 this morning about a fire on Public Way. 2 people were able to get out of the building. 1 pet was rescued. Firefighters say no one was hurt, and we do not know the cause of the fire at this time. Tonight, 2 teenagers faced charges after a large rock went through a Boyle County deputy's cruiser. We're told that deputy went to the hospital. The deputy crashed and rolled his cruiser several times off of Lexington Street in the Old Bridge area. Chelsea Jones explains how this could have been so much worse.
His initial reaction was he thought he got shot because his windshield just exploded and he didn't know what happened.
A Boyle County deputy was responding to a call of someone throwing rocks at a passing semi when a rock came through his own windshield.
The rock itself was big enough that if it would have hit him in the right spot, it could have killed him.
Sheriff Derek Robbins says the rock hit the deputy in the face, causing him to veer off of Lexington Street near Stony Point Road and roll over several times. The cruiser came all the way down this hill, crashing into this garage. The noise was so loud, it alerted the homeowner.
I was in the living room watching TV, and I thought I heard thunder. So I got up, looked at the window, there wasn't no rain.
Luckily, Deputy Philip Dean was able to get out of the cruiser.
It went between the wood pile and the building, sticking straight up.
Dean quickly called for help.
He was taken for observation. He's bruised and has some cuts and that type of thing, but we think he's going to be fine.
In Boyle County, Chelsea Jones, WKYT.
Video and tips help deputies track down the teens. The sheriff says they are now facing felony charges. Kentucky State Police say a person in custody was shot by his own gun outside the Barron County Jail. Matthew Stapleton was taken to the hospital last night after being shot. In a release, police say Stapleton was fighting with a trooper when he got out of a patrol car. During the scuffle, the gun was pulled out and Stapleton was shot. The trooper was not hurt and was placed on administrative leave. We'll be right back with a look at your forecast.